Hello, hello, hello. Let's see what we have here. We have four on board. Let me get the comments. Tell me. All right. So, hey, Lesley, Steve's here. We'll never forget you, Elvis. I just found out on the web, and I'm checking to see. Hey, Gene. Oh, you're back twice in a day. I just saw on the internet that they arrested a lady in Missouri for the big fraud on trying to on Graceland being put up for auction, and they did it today on the anniversary. Um, I'm going to see if I try to link it to that. Let me see if this is going to work. Hold on one second. No, I don't know. For some reason, it's not letting me do that. I was hoping it would take me to the website, but I got to figure out how to do that from here. But anyway, they arrested somebody today, 47-year-old woman in Missouri, who made fraudulent documents and all that. So tried to bilk millions and millions out of the Presleys, and fortunately Riley stepped in there. Let's see how we got. That's the best news. Yeah, it was great. I saw that. It was just great. I was wondering how that was going to turn out. Um, hello, Mary, Denise. Oh, Denise is here, and it's got to be what two. You're what 12 hours ahead, Denise? So it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 4 o'clock in the morning for you. I'm glad you joined, Denise, Lesley. Glad they've got. Yeah, I'm glad they got somebody. It just you're kind of wondering about that, but I know Riley's got to be. How do you get away with stuff like that? That's just crazy. That's just crazy. So this morning we had a fun chat. I see a lot of the same people: Anita, Dylan, Denise. We got 10 on board. Gene, y'all are gamers. Thanks a lot for coming back. We shared a lot of stories, a lot of history, talked a lot about concerts, and we had a fun time. Actually, an hour and a half. I couldn't believe we went an hour and a half, you guys. So anybody still welcome to pop on with me and share a little bit or talk a little bit. I'll put the link in here in a second. You don't have to come on. You don't even have to put your face on if you don't want to. When you do, if you do link in, just remember to watch through the link. Don't watch whatever through the YouTube channel you're doing because there's a delay coming to you from there. So when you link in, you're going to be direct on with me, but so you'll want to mute what you're watching right now if that makes sense. I'm finishing off the box set review tonight with 6 songs. Um, there's some really good ones on this one. I'm about 50-50 with good and not good, and so that's better than what I expected so far. But anyway, it's some interesting stuff tonight. I've been watching that too, Lesley. It was I was watching it last night. Denise, yeah, I'm sure you're half asleep. Great. Hi, Tammy. Tammy's here. Priscilla, you missed it. 12 on board. So, do we want to share some more Elvis stories, your experiences? I think everybody pretty much told their first go. Let me do this. We'll stick this in the link. So, if anybody wants to join in with me on screen, here is the link, and I will pop you in. Otherwise, you can just keep chatting away. Um, I was thinking about another story I had. I had this. It's kind of it is an Elvis story, but it happened after Elvis passed away. But I was working here in Atlanta at the Ritz Carlton, and Lisa Marie was staying there. Michael Jackson was in town too, doing a charity. And this is before they got married. This is before there was even kind of any connection between the two that was public. And I went to I came around. I was the chief engineer there, and I came around. I came around to get on the elevator. As I walked in, oh, there I was on the one of the upper floors, and she was evidently going up to her room, and the door opened, and I walked in, and she was standing there. I knew, obviously, I recognized her immediately, and really very small, petite lady, and she had Riley in her hand, or yeah, it may have been Benjamin. It was a little bit small. I think it might have been Benjamin. He wasn't but more year and a half, 2 years old. So anyway, I walked in, and as employees, you're not supposed to ask for autographs or anything, but I did turn to her and I just said, it was, I was obviously a huge fan of her father. And it was nice for her to be, nice to see her and staying at our hotel, and I appreciate her staying. And so they checked out a day or so later, and when the housekeepers called down. I was in charge of the upkeep of the hotel, and when she called down, she says, "You need to come up here and take a look at this room, or you need to come and take a look at something." And so I knew what room she was talking about because she told me the suite number, and I went up. I walked in the room, and Riley had taken a lipstick and drew all over the toilet seat, and had drawings all over the toilet seat. So I called one of my engineers, said we need to replace this toilet seat. And when I didn't say anything there after that, but I went downstairs into the shop and I told him, "You bring that toilet seat to me." It's 'cause I wanted, it sounds kind of weird to keep a toilet seat, but I thought it's the cover. It wasn't the seat itself; it was the cover. I was going to take off the cover and keep it. And in between the time that they got back up there, someone in housekeeping had taken it themselves, and it was gone. But it was it was actually she was a pretty good little artist actually with lipstick. So that's kind of one of my closest connections is actually being able to meet Lisa Marie, just with a couple of words. Hello, I'm a big fan, and all that. And she was very nice, just real humble and soft spoken. Thank you. And I just couldn't. But it blew me away with how really small she was. I never really, you don't picture that until you meet him. She couldn't have been more than 5 foot tall. I don't know how tall she was, but anyway, let's see. I'm gonna do like I did earlier, and skip over. Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. Um, that little remembering Elvis thing I put up today from Lisa Marie. There were some other stories she told in there about how she was. I guess someone had asked her how if Elvis was strict with her. She just laughed. She goes, "No." She goes, "I got away with everything, and nobody dared say anything because they knew that he'd get fired if they did." She had the rule of the roost there. And Tammy Zinzin, my parents were big fans of Elvis. I was only 5 when he passed away. Yeah, that was I was 19 when he passed away. Do you remember that at all? I know when I was 5, JFK was assassinated, and I can remember faintly that time period because of it was just such chaos on the news and everything else. Um, yeah, I thought the same when we met Priscilla. I she's probably pretty small too, isn't she, Priscilla? I because when you see pictures of her standing next to Elvis, you could tell that she was seemed to be petite. Oh, you worked in the hotels too, Denise? You know, Priscilla. No, I didn't get to keep it. Obviously, someone in housekeeping decided to take it. We didn't have eBay back then. I don't think. I don't think there was eBay back then. This would have been 90, 94, 93, 94, somewhere around in the early 90s when this happened. I think it was around 94, maybe. I had just gotten back from Branson. Anyway, um, and the only other connection I have with Elvis is through Charlie Hodge. I had the pleasure of being able to chat with him a few times. He used to do a show with an ETA there named Eddie Miles, and I had a condo in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and we used to go there all the time. And Eddie Miles, really good guy, really good ETA, really nice guy. And Charlie joined him for a while, and so we used to go to the shows. And then after the shows, they'd come out and sign and talk to people and sell CDs and all that. So I got to talk to him a few times. He was a really nice guy, super nice. He signed. I had his book, and he signed it for me wherever it went. I don't know, but I see. I liked what Joel wish I had to say, but Jack sold it. What was that about, Leslie? I liked what Joel Weinshaker Shanker had to say, but Jack Soden should retire. I don't really know. I've never really looked. I know there's been some controversy with stuff there. I don't know the whole story with that. I with the EPA. Um, you see, I want to try not to avoid. Yeah, Leslie. Yesterday you were 16. Feels like it. Yeah, you know what? 47 years. It's just hard to believe that it's been that long. I can remember. I remember this morning when I was telling a story. I was standing at work, and it was 3:30 in the afternoon, and my boss walked in and said the news just came. The news that Elvis had died, and he said I just went white. And that's back before they had cell phones and all that good stuff. Mary, yeah, I feel very lucky. We were talking about this morning too. You know what? I got. Um, we were talking about the AI program that they have that they going. Oh, Let me see this real quick. He was saying about the world should be a bit more Elvis. Yeah, that would be Jack, or that would be Joel. Leslie, Debbie Schultz, you were 23 when he passed away. I was absolutely devastated. Yeah, I cried too. I mean, I remember I walked home. I was crying all the way home. I worked right next door. Tracy, I was 17. Still remember my whole family sitting around the TV watching. Yeah, when I finally got a hold of my dad, it was just, Leslie. Wow, Leslie, you didn't even know until the next morning. My mom and I went out. Jean, my mama and I went out and bought every paper and magazine cover. We did the same thing. My dad, he never really bought any of the magazines and stuff like that. But for the next month or so, he was buying up every magazine, everything that came out. He went out and bought that National Choir with the picture, and then he threw away that after a while. He was ticked that somebody took that picture. Joel, okay, yeah, I know what you mean now, Leslie. Um, Now, what was I talking about earlier? Hey, Gina, nice to see you. Boy, you're awake early in the morning. It's from Australia. Spent the next hour talking Elvis to my friends. They went home, and I'm still wide awake. Can't sleep, so came on here. Yeah, I called my dad when I got home. Of course, we didn't have cell phones and all that stuff. They were rotary phone. I think I remember they were rotary phones. Oh no, they weren't. They were dial because we had rotary before I even got married. They had push button. But anyway, I got home and I tried to get a hold of my dad, and it wasn't until he was traveling, and finally he called me from the hotel and asked me if I heard. And I go, well, yeah, of course I did. I had, when you back then the only news you had in the middle of the day was the radio station because news didn't come on till 6 and 11. That's the only time you had news. So I sat there and waited for that news to come on. And then all of a sudden, all this Geraldo Rivera. I can't stand that man. He started reporting, and he was just he got into his bit about drugs, and he was just a Jerry Springer type of show. 4:45 in the morning. Well, man, Gina, I'm so glad. Mary Gammons. I always felt left out because I could never see Elvis in person. I did meet Charlie one time. Hey, isn't he a nice guy? I mean, he was just, when you see the videos of him talking, this is exactly, I could stand anywhere, and if he was talking behind me, I would recognize his voice in a minute. You got, oh, my poochies, my dog's wanting to come in and visit. Belinda, I was a little girl. My mom sent me and my sister to watch the news. Yeah. Um, Leslie, I knew something was wrong when I got up. No radio on, and mom had hidden the news. Oh, wow. Wow. Poor, I tell you what, it was such negative stuff after he died. Just attacking everything. Lowell Hayes. Why does that name have? I'm gonna feel dumb when I remember who he is. Lowell Hayes. Lowell Hayes. Remind me again. I'm getting to the point where we were saying this morning. I'm really good. I got a photographic memory with numbers, but names. I'm gonna bring Brent. I'm Brent. That was a. I'm gonna bring Dylan in here. He's. I think he's itching to come in.
Hey,
Hey,
though.
hey, Dylan. So, yeah, we got to talking about all kinds of different things, but one of the things I want to re to mention again is the new thing I'm starting. Hopefully by the end of the month, right at the first of the month, for Sundays mornings and the evening, I'm going to do a meet an Elvis fan,
Mm,
like what Dylan and I are. We'll have a face to face chat live,
yep.
and we'll talk to I'll ask them. They could tell their stories about how they became a fan, and what I want to do is just connect internationally a face with a lot of people and hear their stories. It's real interesting to hear everybody's stories
Yep.
about
Everyone has
Elvis.
a different story.
The other one thing I remember what I was getting ready to talk about was the AI. Um, we were talking about that this morning about it's been canceled until March, they say. Now, I'm not a. I hate this AI stuff that they put on YouTube where they have Elvis singing a song that he never sang and it doesn't sound like him, or some of the AIs are just really badly done. And I'm just hoping that they do this right, because I think if they could do it right and professional and really high quality, and it look and sound like him and it looks like he's there, I think that's going to be the best opportunity and the best experience anybody who never got to see Elvis will have. I think it will be
Yeah.
a big benefit.
Me too.
I remember the concerts that went around with the band and they played with the screen, timed and all that. And I saw that back in, mid 2000s. I can't remember when it was, between 2005, 2009, somewhere around there. And that's when they had pretty much the full band. I mean, everybody was still around. Ronnie Tutt, they had the inspirations, they had the stamps. I don't know if JD still alive then, but
I don't think JD was alive in the 2000s.
they had. I think Ed Enoch was there, and some of the other ones.
Yeah.
But I know my wife went with me, and I remember telling her that when it started with the 2001 and he come out, it's
I thought he was.
I had that feeling, it just we sat away at the other end of the room, and the whole room just shook, and it really gave you that experience of him
That he
coming out
was.
on stage.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
really.
like when like you just said, like when you hear that rumble from 2001,
Oh yeah. Well,
and then you
it's just
see him on the screen.
it's the shit. It's the bass. To me, it's the bass. Um, Tracy him. I have listened to EAP Society's Poor Man Gold. It did sound very like him. I don't know. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard, but I will say that I have I've heard some really bad ones. And there's this one guy put up once, singing a song, and everybody, he was saying how he couldn't tell the difference, and I knew from the I knew from the very first word it wasn't Elvis.
It wasn't. Yeah.
North Red. Hey, well, thank you for joining us, North Red, TCB from Ireland. Wow, thanks for joining us. You see, Lesley. I think. Let's see. I think a lot of people are expecting something like the ABBA show, but it's not going to be anything like that. Different concept. Somebody mentioned this morning that it's going to be something like the '68 comeback special. And my question was, are they going to AI everybody, or are they going to just have him doing the songs and all that in a setting, like a concert setting,
Yeah.
which actually would be pretty cool. But
Y-
to see,
You know what would be cool is if like one end would do the leather, and then like the next be having in the white suit doing "If I Can Dream."
well, in the show, yeah, in the show with
Yeah.
If I Can Dream, yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, I heard. I don't know much about. I heard a lot about that ABBA show, and a lot of people, were were impressed with it. And that's all I really know about it. But all I know is they got to do it right or not do it at all. They did this thing on the America's Got Talent, and I didn't really. It wasn't Emilio involved with that with the
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
Yeah, and they did
They
it a
added.
couple of times. The first time they did it was really good, but the second time, and it wasn't so much what their performance as to the TV, how they had the cameras. It wasn't
It wasn't really right.
kind of like fading out, and it just it wasn't done well. Wasn't the performers? It was something with the technology. It just didn't come out right. It probably was better there, obviously, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
It was
Um,
good how they did it though. Like when you have Emilio behind the screen and then Elvis as like the.
and like I said, I've been to all those shows. Magic. Wow, really, really. I wouldn't mind going to see one. Shell. I need you to send me your address, please, Shell. Is she on here? Did I see her name? Maybe not. I saw somebody say hello. Hello. Yeah, Shell. You need to email me your address. I don't. You're the only one I need to get an address from the giveaways from the stream. So I need your address. So here, I'm going to put in my email. You can also find it on my channel page. Did I get it right? Did I lead off the M? Yeah, email your address, please. Let's see. So, yeah, I got it here, and I just want to make sure everybody gets their things. I actually forgot to get them ready this week, so I messaged and emailed everybody, let them know that they'll be out right away. Yeah, I'll take a look at that, Leslie. I just saw that come through. I'll have to check that out. Hormones. Yeah, I remember that off the that was in the American, was it the American Sound Sessions, right? I think of Poor Man's Gold. I've got the in the sessions, but it'd be kind of cool to. There's a few other things that would probably be cool to see how they come out, like the the Jerry
You know what
Chef
I think they
song.
should do? I think they should do the instrumental song that they wrote, but else never
Yeah,
got around
yeah.
to doing the
I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. It's really good. It's really good. It sounded really good.
Fire Down Below. I think the name of
Fire
it.
Down Below. That's right. It's got a good beat to it.
Yeah.
Did any of you see Scotty? Now I haven't seen Scotty's latest video yet. It's so thoughtful. What's the topic, Tracy? What's the topic? I'll have to check it out. I usually check out his videos, but that one I haven't seen yet. I've been working so much on my videos. I got to catch up. North Red. Let me see. Show. Make sure you do, Jerry. I'm up in the north of Ireland. Oh, that's a personal message. Um, Nice seeing the next generation. Oh, yeah. We talked about that too earlier.
Yeah.
Um, it's just we were talking about how there is no barriers amongst
There's
Elvis fans. You
no
know, it's
age barriers, no race barriers. There's
it's
no
like I was talking about when I stood in line to get Elvis tickets for that last show in Atlanta, and I stood 2 days, 2.5 days in line for ticket. And it was fall, and it wasn't rainy, but it was cold. We were camping out, and Helene asked the question. She goes, she didn't ask direct out. She was just thinking, I'm thinking about the logistics of that, and she was talking about, eating and going to the bathroom and all that. And they, the Omni there they set out porta potties, but, everybody was friendly, we would go out and grab coffee and you wouldn't lose your spot in line. But, the thing about it is the line was black, white, young, old, all different ages. And, there was no barriers. There was no, it just didn't care. Okay, got a question here for you, Dylan.
Hmm.
He wants to ask you
What
what attracted you to the EP.
what attracted me to Well, I told her this morning, but I'm more than happy to do it again.
Well, he wasn't here this morning, so
This is very true. That's the way it is. It's what got me into it. That's the way it is. And what was it? Elvis on tour with the other one, and that was 2006, 2007. So I would have been 3 and 4 at that time.
yeah, I was 4. I was 4 years old. It was in a '55 Chevy Bel Air at the drive-in theater watching Follow That Dream. My
Mm.
dad took me, and I, that, you know,
It's a
what
shame
got,
that he never did any of those songs live. I don't think.
yeah,
Unless he did, and I'm just not remembering.
yeah, he really didn't do a whole lot of movie songs live, did he? Well, Can't Help Falling in Love, and
Jailhouse.
yeah, a few of those. Jailhouse Rock was a tough one to redo. Um, Jerry, hello, Jerry. Let's see. I told my son when they have the life size Elvis comes out at the end, I'll be calm. He just looked at me. I said, unless he comes over to kiss me, then all bets are off. I can fantasize. I like that. So yeah, that's how I began, and I was a movie star Elvis fan growing up. That was my.
Yeah.
I was born in '58, so my time period with Elvis was the movies. And all of you all out there that are my age or older remember, that we had only 3 channels on TV, and you had no internet or anything like that. So um, you really didn't get a whole lot of if you were in my age group, you didn't get to see a whole lot of the '50 stuff. As far as every once in a while, you might see a clip on TV or something like that, or about him on the Ed Sullivan Show and some other things. But it it was that until 1968 when the comeback show. We got Priscilla here that wants to join us. So I'm going to drop you out for a second, Dylan, and just hang in for a little bit. I'll bring you back. Okay, buddy?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, Priscilla.
Howdy doody, Rick. I promise
I'm
I won't stay long, Dylan.
I kicked him out of the room. He was talking too much.
Um,
No, I'm kidding.
Dylan is always a pleasure to listen to. His enthusiasm never,
Yeah.
ever ceases to
Yeah.
inspire and amaze me.
Yeah,
I
he's
just
got
thought
some
there was time
knowledge.
for. He has got some knowledge, and he's very musical. So I mean,
Yeah,
I
him and I have
binged to
some
his
really good
videos.
conversations about music. You know, I'm a musician too, so we talk a
Yeah.
lot about bands and all that. So it's fun talking to him about that.
Well, I'm not a musician, but I am a lover of Elvis music.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it was time to bring a few pheromones to the room there. And I never miss an opportunity, Rick, to tell my Lisa Marie story.
Yeah, please.
So most of the people here probably already know it. So I was fortunate enough to spend some time in Graceland for Elvis's birthday celebration in January 23. And if I loved Elvis before I went there, and I didn't think it was humanly possible to love Elvis or Elvis fans any more than I did before I got there.
Right.
But when I left, I did this 10 times more. People were so kind, so willing to share. I remember we were walking back from the birthday proclamation where I'd met Lisa Marie, and we met a lady sitting on a bench talking to another lady who we'd been talking to in the queue waiting to see Lisa Marie. And I admired this lady's earrings. Her name was Linda. Really lovely lady. And my daughter, who was 18 at the time, loves earrings and loves all these mad things.
Right.
And she goes, oh my, they're really beautiful. They were like little tiny miniature porcelains of Elvis. And the lady just took her earrings out and handed them and said, here, you can have them. I have another pair.
Oh, wow.
Well, this is on the side of the street.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing. It was amazing.
No,
but
I agree. It's like when I was telling you about the standing in the line for the tickets. There was no arguing, no pushing. People have been sitting there for 2 days. You know, you start stinking after a little while. You know, and you're all hanging around. But you know, it was friendly chats, and everybody was talking about their Elvis stories. It was, you know, my favorite movie, my favorite song. You know what? You see, it's fun. You know. And I could, you know,
it really was. And from the minute we landed in Memphis on the bus, from the airport to the hotel, I mean, everybody was just talking Elvis straight away. How many times they had been there, you know. It was the most uplifting experience. It was exhilarating.
There's something
inspiring
about it. There's something very positive about it. You know,
absolute positivity in human form. And when we were there, we got there on the Thursday. I think I got the email to say that Lisa Marie was going to be at the birthday proclamation, and like, I couldn't believe like I was actually going to be in the same town as her, and that was going to be enough. That was going to be enough. You know, that was going to make our trip. To know that she was going to pass the distance.
Yeah, that made my day when I saw her. It was just like, you know, I couldn't wait to tell my dad. You know, it's just like, you will never believe. And you know, working at the Ritz-Carlton, you see a lot of famous people. And but you know, and I grew up in LA, and I used to, so it's never really been anything that like blows me away. But when I see people like her, you know, it's totally in a different category if it's connected with Elvis. And you know, it was one of those things where like you don't know what to say. You don't know how to say anything, you know?
No. And I suppose, you know, you think that I don't know, that she was so kind and so giving on the day. And, you know, I still have a huge amount of guilt over, you know, all standing there and waiting just for a glimpse at her when clearly she, you know, was so unwell because she passed away 4 days later.
Yeah.
You know,
I saw her in those videos. She just did. I just, in my mind, I just thought she's not well. You know.
Do you know what I was saying, Rick? And I never thought she wasn't well. I actually thought she's so tiny. Oh my God, she's so tiny. Like, I look like I ate 2 of her. Yeah. I mean, she would blow away in a gust of wind. But I never thought she looked unwell. And Joel Weinschenker was beside her the whole time. And at one point he said, well, that's it now, folks. We're going to have to stop. The tours are going to start happening. The buses are going to be coming. And she just turned and looked at him and said, no,
Yeah.
these people have waited.
Oh yeah,
We're not going to like
she
this.
gave it all, just like her dad. He wasn't well
Yeah.
then, but I tell you what, he was out there. He was, and Dustin affected that voice. No, yeah,
And she, she was very kind. I know that further down the line from me, there was a younger girl, maybe 2 rows back in the gathering, and she had been very emotional. And I remember she had like brightly coloured hair, and as Lisa Marie approached, she just, she was overcome by emotion,
yeah,
and she started sobbing. And the next thing, uh, Lisa Marie goes, "Are you okay?" Like she sees beyond the 2 rows that are in front of her to the
yeah,
one person that doesn't look okay and inquires as to whether or not she was. The crowd parted. It was like Moses and the Red Sea. She came forward. Lisa took a picture with her.
yeah.
It was just.
It was at the Golden Globes is the one I was thinking about, and Leslie just commented the same thing too, and Jean.
Yeah.
That's when to me she really looked bad when she was there. She looked weak, and that's the night that
Mm,
Austin won the Golden Globe,
yeah.
but
And
she
that
just
was only,
literally looked weak. That was just a few days before she, wasn't it? Just a
that
few
was the
days before.
Tuesday. So it was probably 36 hours after I met her.
Yeah,
But she
to
told me she loved Ireland, and look, I was very fortunate. I will never ever forget the wonderful opportunities that trip afforded
yeah.
all of us. I met Tish Henley Kirk.
Okay.
I uh, Marty Lacker's daughter. She was absolutely Sherry. She was a pure dote. I met so many people. Uh, and obviously those people are fewer and fewer every time now because their
Yeah,
age category is.
yeah,
I met so many fans who were genuine fans, who just wanted to talk and love and be with people who loved Elvis as much as them. And
yeah.
it was the only thing I will say is that I always knew that it was going to be a big trek. I live on the west coast of Ireland. It's a long flight. It was expensive,
Yeah,
you know. And
yeah.
I thought, well, it'll be the once in a lifetime thing, but I'm afraid, uh, yeah, no. Um, it should come with a health warning.
Yeah,
Once will never be enough.
yeah.
Now, I would love to be there for the vigil, but I don't think I'd survive in that heat, Rick. I think I'd be, pretty much cooked. I think I'd
Tennessee's
not survive it.
Tennessee's. This reminds me because of the first time I was in Memphis. We were moving from Los Angeles to Georgia, Atlanta, and before that, I was 17, 18 years old, and before that, I'd never been further west coast than Nevada, Arizona, and so we were driving in the car, and it was June. It was hot. When we got into Arizona, it was 110 at
Oh,
7 o'clock
man.
at night. And that was in Needles, Arizona. But we got to my dad said, "Well, we're going to stop by Memphis and we're going to drive by Graceland." This is 1975, and maybe Elvis will be there. And so I was
Oh,
pumped.
my God.
Now I grew up in Los Angeles where there's no humidity, none whatsoever. I don't even. All I knew about humidity was how to spell it. I didn't know anything else about it. And so, of course, we're driving a station wagon and it's air conditioning the whole way. So we get up and we pull up, and back then you could pull up right in front of Graceland, right there. Didn't really have a turn in, I don't think, but if I remember correctly, but so we pulled up and I got out. My dad and I got out, and my brothers, my mom just stayed in the car. The second I walked out of the car and I walked over to the gate, I looked at my dad. I go, "Why does it feel like this? The humidity." And he says, "That's humidity." I go, "That's humidity?" I said, "Is it the same way down in Atlanta?" He says, "Oh yeah, it's worse." I told him right then. I said, I'm moving back to California. I don't want to deal with this." But
I'm
I
going
never.
back to civilization.
Phew. It was something. I don't know how, and of course, 47 years, 75. So that's now almost 50 years later. I'm still, deal with humidity, but not as much as I had to. I used to have to work in it, but yeah, yeah,
Well,
it's
now I'm going to tell you, I'm Googling here. So 70 is a day where we're at the beach wearing short sleeves and shorts,
wow,
like 70 degrees and
yeah,
no humidity. Like, that's a very warm day where I'm from. I mean,
wow,
and if it doesn't rain, all the better. So
yeah,
I just probably wouldn't survive. But I think that it's important, and there's been quite a bit of a negative slide lately, and I'm not very happy about that. I think we need to remember the goodness. And 47 years after that man's passing, they came out in their thousands
yeah,
in that horrific
yeah.
conditions. Horrific. What other recording artist can
You
say
can't
that
think
47 years after they passed?
anybody, not even just recording artists, just anybody.
Yeah, yeah. I think,
Nobody would do that. You know, it's
and I think, well, I think it's a testament to his fans that
the
people
connection,
continue to, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. And
connection.
of course, and the other thing that I was absolutely ecstatic about was watching the vigil on YouTube this morning when I got up because it was too late last night for me. All the young people going in the gates with their
Yeah,
candles. All of these young people, and I'm enthused and I'm so happy. Now I don't consider myself old, like,
yeah,
I was 4 when he passed,
yeah,
going on 5. I don't actually remember him passing because I was too young. I wasn't, but I remember I was a child that grew up in the 80s, and we watched all of the Elvis movies. They were on TV on a weekly basis, and
yeah,
then at some point realizing that he had died, and
yeah,
then like 5, maybe 10 years later, I actually went through the grieving process for a man who had passed away 10 years before that because I couldn't believe that he had, And now my mom was an Elvis fan, and my name's a bit of a clue, isn't it, really?
yeah,
I didn't have a whole lot of choice. It was decided before I came.
yeah,
And so, my party piece as a toddler was singing Elvis tunes, yeah, or
yeah,
crucifying Elvis tunes, whatever.
yeah,
So there was always a love for Elvis around me. It was
yeah,
it was always the case. But I certainly think, and then I think, in my teens when I learned about his humanity and his philanthropy and his respect for his fans,
Well,
his respect for his fellow man.
let me tell you how I'll give you an experience that's within my family of how that man's able to connect with anybody of any. We were talking about it just a little bit ago about it doesn't make any difference what nationality, what color, what age, anything. But my two brothers, I'm the oldest, and they were both a year. We were a year apart each. And they grew up deaf. So
Oh,
they never they had enough hearing with a hearing aid where they could hear, yell wrong or whatever, but that's it.
yeah,
Music was feel, it wasn't hear. Because they couldn't
okay.
hear the words and all that, but they could feel it. And so growing up, they never got to really, they became Elvis fans from the movies and all that, but they could never hear the movies, and there was no caption back then. So there
No.
was none of that. So I would sit there. We would watch the movies on TV when they finally came to TV because they never got to go to the theaters with us and watch them because it did them no good.
Mhm.
When they came on TV the next year or so, I would sit there and then we'd stop. We couldn't stop it, but I'd have to stop and tell them what was going on and then catch up and
Oh,
explain to them. But they had
you were
such
like
a
their
connect.
interpreter.
Well, yeah, we had our own sign language because I never learned sign language until I got 18, 19 years old. And they but they went with us when I saw Elvis in 74 at the Forum, and the whole family, my mom, all of us went to go see him, and they went, and that's all they could talk about was that concert because they could feel it. When
Yeah,
JD
yeah,
hit
yeah.
that low note in Amen, and
Mm.
Ronnie touched drums, and when Elvis was belting out like "You Can Have Her" or the powerful songs, I talked to my brother years later about it, and he explained to me that he just felt it. It was a connection. He felt the power of it. It wasn't so much as just like turning on the radio and hearing songs and the beat.
Right.
There was a connection to him, and they're still big, huge fans of Elvis, and they love watching all these things. And now they get to watch the movies with caption, and they get to hear. And so
Yes.
they get to hear everything. Where before I didn't interpret. I just told them what was happening, or something
Yeah.
happened that was funny, and everybody was laughing. I had to tell them the joke. But we had to. The thing about it is, back then you didn't. It wasn't on where you could pause it and say, "Okay, pause it here. Let me explain it to them."
Yeah. Yeah.
The
It was
movie was
on. It was
still
on.
going on, and you had to explain it.
Mm, yeah.
And that
And
was
if
with
you stop to
everything.
explain that bit, you missed the next bit.
So that just goes to show, what kind of connection he could have with anybody. I mean, deaf people and all that. It's just,
Yes, it
they're
was.
not as big as I am. But they, things are different now. They go to concerts now where they have actual, how the concerts have the big screens now. Where you can see the star from the
Yes.
stage. One of the screens has an
Yeah.
interpreter interpreting the words of the song for deaf people.
Oh, yes, I saw that recently. Actually, I think I saw that at Glastonbury.
Yeah, my brothers went and saw the Eagles. My brother Tim him and his wife went and saw the Eagles, and they had an interpreter interpreting the words, and so he could feel the music, watch it, and read what they were
Getting in.
saying. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
And
cool.
isn't it great that society has become much more inclusive? But again,
Yeah.
even without that inclusivity, Elvis touched your brothers. His music, his
Oh yeah,
soul,
that's
his
that's what I
rhythm.
mean. I just they just knew something different about him. And we would talk about that all the time, and then.
He was damn good looking, Rick. He was
Oh,
damn good looking.
hey, listen, I don't disagree. He just there was just something that you can't dispute that. I mean,
Oh,
I was
magnetism.
somebody I put a picture up. I put pictures on my community tab every night, 5 pictures of Elvis, and sometimes they're a profile and all that. Somebody says, "Well, that's a nice profile of him." It was like a right side profile, and somebody put the comment, "There is no bad profile to him.
No.
Every one of them is
Yeah, show me the
amazing."
bad side, Ben.
Yeah. So, well, listen, I
Um,
appreciate it.
I appreciate you letting me come on and say hi to you guys. And
Yeah, yeah,
I don't often nowadays. My life's kind of busy. Get the
yeah.
opportunity. So when it came, I thought I wanted to share
No,
that with you guys. And
well, I'm getting ready to
I'm
start
definitely
a
having a bit of
series.
FOMO about not being in Memphis, but
Yeah,
this is the next best thing, isn't it?
yeah. No, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you came on and told the story. That's what I wanted to do today. It's a good day to do it and
Oh,
tell our stories.
yeah.
But I really appreciate
And
it.
we shouldn't be sad he passed. We should be happy he lived.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, Priscilla, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No bothers. Cheers, guys. Sorry for butting in, Dill.
He's a good sport. He's used to it. He'll come back in and join us. So um, anyway, let me see. Yeah, it's a good comment right there. I'm a heterosexual male. Love ladies, most beautiful on the planet, but I think I would have kissed Elvis. Well, you all heard the story that Jerry Reed says. About best looking guy. He says, "I wish I was a woman, Elvis." Let's see. Okay, we lost Leslie due to a bad internet connection. So, all right, Dylan, thanks. So who?
That's all
Belinda.
right.
Hey, Belinda. Belinda's with us. Yeah, shall. I got to catch up on the. I got way behind on comments earlier.
You know what I was thinking just now?
What's that?
I There was a story that I didn't tell this morning that I've just thought of now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was like 5, I went to this Elvis tribute show, and the same inspiration to her, they were singing backup for this guy, and at the end they were doing a meet and greet, and so I got to meet him,
Oh,
and so
cool.
that was great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it was when I met Eddie Miles and Charlie Hodge.
Mm,
They always came out into the lobby, and he would sell CDs of some of his shows and what he had. Yeah, and you can, sometimes you can go back and they would have recorded the show that you just watched. But Charlie was just, it was nice meeting him and meeting Eddie.
Charlie was a funny guy.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
of
I'm
the
so glad to see his wife republish his book, his widow. She republished the book and gave everybody the opportunity because the original ones were selling like for a fortune on eBay.
yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right,
good.
I think I'm gonna head off now.
Okay,
But
buddy. Thanks for
thank you for letting me come on, and I will see you
tomorrow,
tomorrow.
1:30
Yeah.
podcast. Bye.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Okay, let me see if I can catch up here. We still got 13 people. Shell, let's see. Um, Jerry, see, I saw that Lisa Marie and Austin spent time in Graceland. It looked instant and deep connection. Yeah, I seen. I think she just felt so motherly and close to him. Maybe brotherly. I think she felt. I think it was an Elvis connection there. I really do. I mean, and I got really jealous at watching Austin sit there and play on Elvis's Gibson guitar, the one he had in Vegas with his name written on it. And I would love to be able, and it would be really cool. Oh, you gonna go, Belinda? Okay. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. We're not gonna be too much longer here, but I appreciate you stopping by. It's good to see you. You oh boy, we got more. So, a couple things. y- I would like for everybody. You can get the information in my videos in the description, but there's a newsletter that goes out. Everybody. I think everybody pretty much knows I'm an ambassador for the Circle G Foundation, which is done. Things done under Elvis's name, and we do something every year. But she puts out a quarterly roundup newsletter that everybody's invited to put their own stories, Elvis stories in. It kind of gives you updates, and it's cool. It's free. It comes to your email once a quarter, so it's not like one of these things where you get notifications, emails from these companies and all that like constantly. This is just once a quarter. It shows pictures, and it's really cool. So just if you want to subscribe to it, just get it through your email. It's really cool. I'm going to be putting a story in there hopefully in this next newsletter, and you can, like I said, everybody can share their own stories. Priscilla, yeah, no, I agree that the connection was obvious. Austin did a tremendous job. I tell you, people talk about the movie being out of timing, sync. I don't care. He Austin nailed that performance. The concert scenes, especially the Vegas concert scenes, and that opening scene when he's opens up with "Baby, Let's Play House" at the Louisiana hayride. He nailed it, and he sang those songs from the early years. That was Austin singing. But yeah, they had a connection. She was proud of him, and that's good because of anybody that you want to have your back and support would be Lisa Marie from that. So, all right, guys. Well, have fun. I've got another video coming out for my box set reviews, so it'll be out hopefully tonight or in the morning. I'm doing 6 more songs. Yeah, Tracy, he was robbed of the Oscar for sure. He put his heart and soul into the role. Yeah, I saw the movie with Brendan Fraser. I thought he did a great job in that movie. It was kind of but it was such a downer movie, really downer movie. But sometimes those are the ones. So I don't take anything away from Brendan, but I just think Austin was a better his performance was better. What he went through to do that. I mean, how long did it take for him to shake that accent? You know, Elvis's speech. It took him a while to shake that. And if you haven't seen Bike Riders yet that he's in, that just came out, you better go see it. It's really, really good. It's based on a true story. Denise, okay, I know it's like 4 o'clock in the morning for you, or 2 o'clock, whatever it was. Go get some sleep. I'll have another early morning one for y'all. Jerry Bye at Cheney Bell. So anyway, I'm going to be starting that program. Anybody that would be interested in being a guest on that new series, I'm going to do it on Sundays morning and the evening. It's just going to be a quick meet and greet an Elvis fan. I haven't nailed down the title, but I'm thinking about mornings with an Elvis fan and tea or coffee with something like that. It's going to base around everybody meeting an Elvis fan from around the world. And we'll do it on screen, do it live, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, just a, quick, however long, if we get into a good discussion. But I think it'd be kind of cool for all of us to, actually have a connection like this. We got a great forum to do it, and it'll take a little while to build it up, but I've already got some people scheduled, or not scheduled, but on the list to schedule and do. And like I said, it will be live, and so nothing, which is chat, and we could tell our stories. And I think after a while, people say, "Well, I want to do that. I want to share my stories." We all have a great story when it comes to Elvis. So if you're interested, email me. You check the comments, it's in there, or my email address is in my description of my channel. And just email me. Let me know, hey, I'm interested in doing it, and we'll do it. I'm going to do it first come, first serve basis. And Gina, you're the first person. You're the first one that asked. So I will be getting in touch with you in the next week. Once I get everything settled, I'll probably start the last Sunday of the month. And I'm going to put together the graphics. I want to nail down the name. I got to kind of think for sure what the name is. Anybody got any suggestions? Let me know. But, I'm just kind of thinking something catchy, almost like a little news, news show, but it won't be ever, it'll never be over 30 minutes. I'm thinking about 20, 30 minutes. And it'll be regularly every Sunday morning. And I will do the Sunday morning at 7 a.m. so that we can hit Down Under and a lot of other areas. Then I'll do one in the evening. So not for sure what time on a Sunday. I don't want to interfere with Steve's show, so it'll probably be after his show, maybe like 4:30 or 5, maybe a little bit earlier, or maybe I'll do a noon one. And so I'll have to figure it out, or maybe I'll have to do it another day for the second one. But so I want to try to get, and of course they'll all be there to go back and watch later. So it's not like it's going to be live and you never see it again. So they'll be in my live category, and we'll be able to. I make some little shorts from them if they, we have some nice little comments and all that, and everybody can share pictures. When I'm gonna interact with everybody that's on there. If they got pictures they want to share, they can send them to me by email, and I can have them ready to show. Like some of you have pictures of you saw them in concert, or your trips to Graceland, or anything. Just something. Just it's going to be an Elvis catalog, an Elvis magazine, on YouTube. I think it's something different, and I think it'll catch on. I hope it does, because I'm enjoying these live chats. I enjoy my videos too, but this is just it's kind of nice just to be able to have a live one-on-one, or one on, well, right now 11. So but Gina, yeah, I'll get in touch with you, and hopefully by the weekend, and we'll get everything sorted out. Tracy is like, there you go, perfect. An online Elvis fan club. I'll have to kind of work that into. I'll give you credit there, Tracy. The online Elvis-A-Z Elvis fan club. Maybe I'll do a poll. I tell you, if keep a watch on my community tab, and I'll come up with some names. I'll let everybody vote. I'll do a poll and let everybody vote for which one they like the best, and we'll go with that. So keep an eye on my community tab. If you don't get notifications, because every single night, basically, I post 5 new pictures. I kind of give a little story of where they're at, and sometimes I'm wrong, but I invite everybody to let me know if I'm wrong so I can correct the dates and all that. But every night I do that, and of course I put notifications for every other stuff on the community tab. I use that a lot. So I will come up with some names, and I'll let everybody vote. But I like that. It's like an online Elvis fan club. That's good. I like that. All right, everybody. Thank you. That was an hour long. That's nice. We did 90 minutes this morning, and it went by fast. So thank you. Like I said, I got a few videos coming out. Especially the box set. I'm going to keep pushing through that. I got some interesting stuff I found on some more on the American Sound. So, TCB to everybody. I appreciate it. I really appreciate you all subscribing and helping me get to 20,000. That's just amazing. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm having fun. I'm working on another Elvis cover, and it'll be a little bit of a surprise for everybody if I can get it all down right. I want to do another one like I did with Muddy Waters. Debbie, thank you. Love to chat with all the other Elvis fans. Thank you. So you are absolutely welcome. I'm going to say goodbye. Everybody have a good evening, morning, day. Well, how is it Truman said? Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a great night. So, bye.